Mm. Are we 5 by 5, y'all? Can you let me know, please? How is everybody? Happy New Year, by the way. Assuming you can hear me and see me. Um, oh, sorry to hear that. Then Sandy has begun at my house. I got the kids back yesterday, and they all four have this stomach bug. Wow. Sorry to hear that. We are 5 by 5. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much, y'all. Um, Forrest, who was second in the house, man. You can't cheat prepper trucking. I seen that earlier. I found out yesterday that we will have a total solar eclipse. I think it was in April. I'm sure it'll be blamed on something to do with the changing of, shall we say, the climate. I'm just saying. They'll spin it. What's going on, McBean, Bama Jen, Dynamite, Big Mama Steph, Malachi, JRC Homestead? Need to get my eyes checked, son. Neil to no one. Red Dog, how are you doing? A Troop, Redfish Tex, and anybody else that I missed? Big T, how are you doing? Uh, yeah, interesting. I'm scrolling back through here real quick, Big T. Interesting comment. There is and has always been an opportunity for a Black Swan event. I totally agree. That's like saying there is a chance we will have severe weather sometime this year, right? That's what I'm saying. But normally, you don't have mainstream media anchors on CBS throwing that out and using that exact term. You know what I mean? Normally they spin it and they dress the term up, and it was just weird for me to hear an anchor or somebody on CBS dropping that out on live TV. I said, okay, this is new. Thank you, and thank Rebecca for the squirrel recipe that I will never use, by the way. It ain't happening. Trout on dry. Happy New Year to you as well. Prepper Trucking. I do not, if you send it to the email, it goes into a black hole at this point. Um, the Dirty Dozen. Dynamite, I'm looking right at you. He knows what I'm talking about. A couple of days ago, he texted and he had said something about he didn't know or he didn't remember that there was a Dirty Dozen 2 or a Dirty Dozen 3, and I'm like, "I've never seen those 2," and, he's like, "Yeah, it's got Telly Savalas in it," and he goes on to tell me, I think, Telly Savalas was in the first one too, and I didn't remember that he was in the first one, and I said, "Oh god, it's been so long since I seen the first one." So over the past 2 days, I've been binge watched all 3 of the Dirty Dozen movies. Now I'm gonna let you know in here in a second, which one was my favorite. Jim Shady, member for 7 months. I appreciate that, brother. And I saw you post, man, I can't remember what time it was last night, but it was a massive drink. I think your lady had made you. I forget what you called it though, but I did get a notification for that. How dare you? How how dare you? Um, so I didn't care for the 3rd one too much. I mean, it was okay at best. The first one, I like the Major better than I do Telly Savalas as the Major. I think he did a better job. But overall, I gotta be honest with you, I like the 2nd movie, The Next Mission. I thought the acting was better in it. I like the monastery and stuff like that. I just like the setting in general. Seemed like there was a little more action going on and not as much cheese. But I really did like the intro to the first one where he's meeting all the guys, they're lining up, and it's giving the credits and stuff. So that was really cool. But yeah, so I spent, hours watching those 3, and I don't regret it, so thank you for that, Dynamite. Also, um, football. Been watching a lot of football, and I'm sorry, Bama Jen, to burst your bubble, but I'm talking about real football, not American football, or as it's known on the streets as hand egg. I kind of got away from the NFL when they were being nonsensical, and I discovered Canadian football, but, I also discovered the English Premier League for anybody that's familiar. I never really got into soccer, AKA football, because I didn't understand it. I didn't, I was in my comfort zone with the NFL and college and all that. But when I walked away from the NFL, so to speak, I kind of got into the English Premier League. And so you might see me wearing some of these threads in 2024. I've become borderline obsessed with it, son. My wife and I, and my daughter, especially my daughter's big time into it. Um, this one I haven't watched, but I think that one showed up in the recommended, like, as I was watching the other ones. Um, yeah, I used to have all kinds of misconceptions about soccer, but it's a very, very tough sport. There's a lot of intricacies in there that I didn't realize, kind of like baseball. There's a lot of stuff going on that you don't see as a casual fan, but once you start watching it, I'm telling you, it's awesome. So, as you will notice, this morning, we actually ran the video from the bunker. We're in the bunker right now. I have not caught a strike, thankfully, on YouTube, but something weird is afoot. I tried to upload this video to the main channel twice last night. Both times, almost immediately, it got flagged. It went into limited status, yellow, which means, the advertisers don't like something you said. So I said to myself, I said, "What's going on?" It's not really a bad video this morning. I posted much worse, right? Um, yeah, well, that's Big T. That's Women's World Cup. Yeah, I don't watch anything that she's involved with. I think she plays in the United States. English Premier League is over in Europe. But so I said, let me just upload it to the backup channel, the bunker, and see what's going on. Immediately they approved it. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I just decided, hey, I haven't put anything over here on the bunker in a while anyway. Let's go ahead and run the video on the bunker, and I'll just start stacking them up on the main channel and disputing them, and see if I can beat these little limited things. Some kind of algorithm. I don't know. If I had a hair, it'd be falling out, but I'm not complaining. It is what it is. We got the bunker for a reason. So they do all kinds of weird stuff, and again, I'm not gonna complain about it. I don't wanna be one of these creators that's constantly complaining about YouTube, but I refuse to leave, you know what I mean? Kinda like, I hate San Francisco, but I refuse to leave. At some point, you just leave, right, when you're fed up with it. But that's what the backup channel is for, and it's been sitting idly by. God bless VR Lab Girl. If she was here and able to see this, I promised her last year I was going to do something with the backup channel, and I never forgot that. So we are going to be doing a lot more on the bunker. There's going to be exclusive stuff dropping there. As a matter of fact, these hangouts are going to replay over on the bunker. They're going to stack up as replays over on the bunker just because I don't want to lose them. You know what I mean? I'm streaming from the bunker right now because I'm afraid at any point in time, YouTube on the main channel is just going to go in and start deleting stuff. So it is what it is. A lot more stuff coming on the bunker in 2024, but there's going to, stuff still going to be dropping on the main channel as they will allow me to do it. The Radioactive Podcast with Backwoods. Um, I'm waiting for him actually to text me back. We're gonna be kicking that off sometime this week. We're deciding on the day. That's what I'm waiting on the text back for. We have the intro ready to go. He put it together. It looks fantastic. Unfortunately, he sworn me to secrecy. Plus, we have a huge announcement on the first one, the first episode, and I'm also sworn to secrecy on that. But it has to do with YouTube and circumventing the censorship and stuff. So I can't wait for y'all to see that. It's going to be a little more of a serious podcast. Um, it's not gonna, I'm not gonna be up in people's face and stuff like this, but if you've watched Backwoods, he can get fired up sometimes. And this is one of the reasons we just complement each other well. And this is one of the reasons that I really wanted to do a podcast with him. Um, So anyway, tomorrow, how to survive this year. Good old 2024. That's tomorrow's topic. Going to be an in-depth discussion on how you as a prepper can survive 2024. I think people, without going too far into it, I think a lot of people are focused a lot of things that really they maybe shouldn't be for 2024. Yeah, it's going to be a nasty year. It's going to be bad, but what you can control versus what's really out of your control, and why are we focused over here? This sort of conversation. Um, let me not. I did. Thank you very much, and I'll thank you on the video tomorrow morning as well. I did. I just had already recorded the video when those came through. I appreciate it though. Um, it's possible, but again, this is something that I know definitely I can't talk about on the main channel too much because for whatever reason, they got their eye on me over on the main channel. They really don't like the main channel, but it is what it is. Squirrely Radio, good morning. YouTube disconnects your stream for an update. First time for that. I don't know anymore. I don't know what's going on anymore with this stuff. Um, I just go in, do what I can, not complaining about it, keep my head down, and just keep chopping wood, as I like to say. What's going on, Matt Outdoorsman? How are you doing? Um, survival tips: start by turning off the TV. Well, we don't even need the TV, I think, in this day and age because there's so many people on YouTube that are telling us what they're seeing on TV, right? Um, it's it is what it is. Camping trip. I got two things I want to try and accomplish at some point this year, Dynamite. A camping trip, and I want to write another zombie novel. I don't I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but I want to get it in. I really do. I get the bugs hit me. You know what I'm saying? Um, Shotgun Saturday night, which we're still going to be doing. But as I was sitting down, and I'm glad Shady's here because he's a zombie fan too, the good zombie movies, right? The old school stuff. As I was watching The Dirty Dozen, all three of them, again, thank you, Dynamite. I was thinking to myself, should we? And I'm gonna let y'all decide this morning. Let me know yes or no. I'm not gonna be offended either way. Shantina, good morning. Do y'all want to just reserve Saturday nights for movie and TV reviews and things like this? Prepping related stuff, and just run a poll throughout the week through at the membership levels, and everybody decide what we're gonna watch and something like that, and just make Shotgun Saturday night about having fun, talking movies and things like this? Or do you wanna do something totally different with it? Prep or medic? Absolutely. Because at some point, I would like to trick y'all into trying another Romero movie. Tell him, Shady. They're classics. Every time we run a Romero movie, though, on the poll, it always gets the beat down, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. People just don't appreciate the art of it, I guess. Um, Coffee first, then speak. Thank you. That would be cool. Um, Red Dog Retreat. I see a lot of these pictures on Facebook and stuff, and that's pretty awesome, Red Dog. Loose. Good morning. I called her, I pronounced her name wrong for so long, y'all. And we follow each other on Twitter and stuff too. And finally she just let me know one day. She's like, "Oh, you're pronouncing it wrong." So that's how I know how to pronounce it now. Um, Dawn of the Dead, Diary of the Dead. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Um, Sven says they're coming to get you. Um, I want to show y'all one of the two things that I got for Christmas. The other is down below my desk. I've not put any of it together. They're paintable miniatures, the Stalingrad set. Check this out. Y'all ready for this? Anybody remember Atari? So this is the new console that they released. It's an up-to-date version. Plays the old games and the new stuff. Look at that. It's got the digital orange ring. Y'all remember the orange ring that was around the controller and the paddle. Do y'all remember the paddle from the Atari? The stick also functions as a paddle. How freaking cool is that? Miss Nation's awesome. I do not have a link to that. I do not work for Atari, but if you go to atari.com, it's called the VCS. There are two versions. There's a cheaper version that takes the original cartridges and plays them on HDMI TVs and things, and the original controllers, and then the all digital version. Um, so it came with Pong. Who said Pong? It came with Pong. It comes with 100 plus of the classic games, and then they have a lot of the other classic games for sale for like $2 a pop in their store. But then they have a lot of newer games also. Um, well, I've got one of those too, Malachi. I've got one of those and several of the top loader clone systems and stuff as well. Yeah, teach their own. I like a lot of stuff on Nintendo as well. Asteroids comes with it, both the cartridge version and the arcade version, and I get smoked on it every time I play it. Berserk, Berserk and Warlords is what I've been playing the most of. Um, yeah, the original, like the toaster looking one. I don't pull that out much because I don't know when it's gonna die. It's so old. But I have a lot of the carts and stuff, and I play them on the top loaders. Yeah. But I do have a pristine I don't have the box or anything, but I have a pristine, NES. Yes, and me too. It's simple. This one actually has 2 buttons on it, though. You've got the red button like back in the day, then you got a second trigger button right here, but it still works. It works out well. Charges USB-C. Um, came with a Pro controller too that looks like an Xbox controller. Yeah, the N64 Malachi, that's the system to collect right now. It's going way up in price. That's the one, that and the Turbo 16. Everybody seems to want those 2. But anyway, back to it. Um, I saw that news this morning, the earthquakes and tsunamis, warning for Japan. After the last one, there was a shortage of TB drugs. With all of the immigrants coming in, there's going to be an uptick of active cases. Excellent point. Um, again, they're probably going to blame the change of, again, shall we say, the climate. But realistically, I can go in the closet. I would have to do some digging, but I've got some older National Geographic magazines where the same level of stuff was happening 30 plus years ago. So it is one of those things that does happen periodically. You hate to see it. You hate to see people going through what they're going through, but it's why we prep, and to your point, as these people are coming in, especially if they're coming into our country, brother, they ain't no telling. I mean, we're letting anybody in at this point. Um, those people, as long as they weren't carrying disease, I wouldn't have a problem with them coming here for a while. You know what I mean? Because they're escaping that. It's the problem I have is just train loads full and bus loads full of the illegals crossing the border, to live here permanently. Um, I never had a video game growing up. The closest thing I had was a hidden drug lord game on my calculate. Good lord. None? No games? Uh, well, I mean, I guess you could look at that as an advantage growing up too, because I did waste a lot of time playing games and stuff. Get your medicinal garden ready, and there are a lot of seed catalogs out there as well, and a lot of the seed companies, if you look them up online, they'll actually send you a catalog for free or very, very cheap in some cases, and they're thick. Now it's gonna have a variety of different seeds in there, but the medicinal stuff is in there. Um, Raven P, as of January the 1st, Illinois has 1 year to register all firearms. So, yeah, without getting too much into the radioactive podcast, that is going to be one of our first episodes. I think the first one we're going to be predicting major events in 2024 and going back and forth on that because we don't agree on all of them. And I know that Backwoods was wanting to talk about the Second Amendment and the attack against the Second Amendment. So that is gonna be one of the first episodes we do. Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's a shortage of the drug anyway, that's not good, right? Um, Very sneaky indeed, migrants being flown into Rockford, Illinois airport and then being bused to Chicago, but they've reached a level, I think, where they're not even trying to be sneaky about it anymore. They're being brazen about it in most cases, because they've realized people aren't gonna do anything about it, you know? People aren't gonna they're too compliant. Um, I remember those days, and I wish we still had those, brother, to be honest with you. The first time I played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, it was just called Punch-Out! In the arcades. That and Double Dragon, that was, like, my first experiences, major experiences, and, of course, Space Invaders. God, I remember those days. Um, my biggest concern for 2024 is the open border policy and losing access to Prepper Nation. Well, again, I've been sworn to secrecy on that by good old Backwoods, who's probably still in the bed right now. He hadn't texted back, but you will not have to worry about that moving forward because we're branching way outside of YouTube with the podcast. Now I'll just leave it at that. I've got a couple of Baker Creeks um, seeds, their catalogs laying around somewhere. These things float around. They go from bathrooms to under the coffee table and stuff like this. Um, what was the online PC warfare game that everyone played in the late 90s, early 2000s? I don't know. It could have been, I can't remember if it was online, but Wolfenstein was huge back then. I remember playing the crap out of that one. What it is they don't care about the Constitution. The Constitution only matters if we're gonna make them toe the line and we're gonna hold them to it. And people yeah, of course, there's some people that wanna stand up and force them to toe the line, but there's not enough. I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point. Um, yeah, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. No video games at all. You learn to do other things. I learned to fish and I can ride a dirt bike, but I learned later on. I wasn't fishing when I was 8 years old. So that part of it I do regret. Um, I don't know if that's back or not. I haven't seen any of those ads myself, um, but I guess I'll be on the lookout for them. Gauntlet is a straight up classic, and it's a shame because I have it. It's in pristine condition. That's one of the few that will not work in the clone systems. So if I want to play Gauntlet, I have to pull the actual OG Nintendo out. So I don't play it very often, but it's a great game. Doom, yeah, Doom was also out. I don't I don't know if that one was online. It could have been GoldenEye on Nintendo 64. A lot of people were playing that, but I don't remember exactly what year. I imagine so. I imagine so. Double Dragon has a whole different meaning to us vets. Delta Force was another good one. Yes, it was. Joining in. How are you doing, Christine? We're getting ready to close her down, but the replay will be available at the bunker. Um, they don't care. We do nothing. Yeah, I mean, you'd like to place all of the blame into the lap of the government. You're absolutely right. They are largely to blame, but complacency and not forcing them to do their job according to the Constitution, that falls on the American people. At some point, if they're not going to be forced to do their job properly, how can we completely blame them? You know what I mean? Some of the blame is on the American people, and there's a lot that goes into it. You know, a lot of people, as we've discussed before, they graduate, they hate the country, they've been totally indoctrinated, this sort of stuff, and they've been conditioned not to care. You know, our generation, Gen X, and probably farther on back, views the United States and views the Constitution and things a lot differently than the newer generation. This is one of the things I picked up last night when we were watching the ball drop live. I was watching it with my son because he had to stay up until midnight. And I could just tell by the crowd, like half of the musical performers, they were singing in Spanish. You could tell by looking at the crowd how much the country's changed, and it's just, it's just not the same country anymore. You know what I mean? How much further are they gonna go up? Um, I mean really, every time I talk to the postal worker, the mailman that comes by the house, it's always staffing issues. They never mention, "Hey, we're running out of money." It's always, "Do you know anybody that needs a job? Do you know anybody that's willing to do mail routes and things?" This is way before Christmas, so, um, I don't know. I I don't get it with them. Uh, you're competing you're competing with email and stuff like that. I get Amazon uses the postal service and other, major providers like Walmart and stuff, but look, let's be honest. In 10 years, they're gonna be delivering with drones. Amazon and companies like this exclusively. So they're not gonna need the postal service anymore. I am not sure, Raven P. I see you. I'm not sure. You should have an icon because you got a link to the exclusive chat. Um, I would, I would say reach out and message YouTube and they'll fix you right up, but they ignore the crap out of me. So I can't guarantee that they'll do anything about it. I am sorry. But if you got this link, you should continue to get them. For those that don't know, the War Daddies, we do this every day, Monday through Friday. Now that the Christmas holiday is over, right? And New Year's. We do this Monday through Friday, couple of days a week. Everybody's in here, but we do this Monday through Friday for 20 to 30 minutes. I went way over this morning. Casey Send It. I'm a water operator at a small public water district. Post office lost our entire mail. The entire thing. Um, Minuteman, if you can be here tomorrow for the exclusive stream, I don't have it right here. It's under my desk. I'll bring the Stalingrad set and show it to you. I've not started putting together. I just opened it up and checked it out. But I'm going to be able to complete the German army now. Minuteman knows what I'm talking about. I already had the complete U.S. Army and the Soviets. I ain't completing that army. Yeah, and again, I'm not complaining, but I already know they're going to ramp it up on conservatives as we get closer and closer to the election. Man, people are going to get censored, and it is what it is. I ain't gonna whine and cry about it. Ain't gonna do any good anyway. You know. If you want to end censorship on your channel as a prepper, you basically have to relocate to California, apply and get a job at YouTube, and then go in and switch the algorithm back to ah, play nice. Plays nice with others. Otherwise, it is what it is, and I don't get people that complain about it and keep doing it. But definitely, if you're a creator, have a backup channel. I am, I'm saying have a backup channel. Um, Stratego, I've not played in a long, long time, Big T. I do remember that game. It's a little more simplistic than Risk, from what I remember, but still fun. Blue water will fix what ails you. We will close it here. Be on the lookout for bootleg recipes moving forward. Um, Wait just a minute here. I don't know. Somebody else was just asking. I don't know. I can go through when I get done with this and see if there are more emojis I can add over here. Maybe that's something I need to do over here. I am sorry about that. But I'll get it fixed if it's something I can do on my end. Bootleg Nuka Cola recipes will be hitting the membership levels. Like if you remember here or over on the main channel or on Patreon, you're going to start to see these because, spoiler alert, this is what I'm going to be drinking during the Radioactive podcast. I'm going to have a different bootleg Nuka Cola every week. I am. I'm going to try them all. Um, One is actually hitting later today, so y'all be looking for that. Anyway, I appreciate everybody's support outside of YouTube. We will do another coffee chat tomorrow at some point. I try and get them done before lunchtime in most cases. And yeah, so that's it until tomorrow. Again, we're going to be talking about how to survive the year that we're in right now because it's going to be crazy. Y'all take care and God bless.